Hi all, welcome to this session on UPSC Prelims History Book List. I have already detailed my book list on my blog and also on this YouTube channel itself. But then many aspirants have been asking clarity over book list for history per se. So this is a video session that I have made only and only to discuss what you should read or what you should skip for history for from prelims point of view. So let us begin with the session. Uh, there are three topics in history prelims, that is ancient medieval art and culture and then modern history. You are not required to focus on post independence history. You are not required to focus on world history. I was surprised to receive these queries as well when aspirants asked me whether world history and post independence are included in pre or not. Uh, I don't know. The syllabus is available on net everywhere. You can simply go through. I don't know what is the point of this query, but then it's okay. So the first point is ancient and medieval. Now, I don't think many read this book, Lucent GK, but then this is a very good book as far as history and geography and science preparation for prelims is concerned. This book used to be referred by those preparing for SSC exam and not for UPSC, but then of late we have seen that too many factual questions have been asked by UPSC also. The questions that were expected from SSC. So such questions have been asked by UPSC where they are asking who wrote particular newspaper or journal, particular book, etc. So Lucent GK book is full of such knowledge, and I think that everyone should study this book at least twice so that you get hold of the factual knowledge or the facts at one concise place. Second is what I referred. These are not my notes. The entire credit for these goes to Civil Services Chronicle. These are 30-page notes of Civil Service Chronicles. I literally had no interest in ancient medieval subject as such. I used to find it very boring and very tough to remember, tough to understand. So all I did for ancient and medieval was Lucent GK and then these 30 pages notes. So these notes are available on my blog, the link of which you can find in the description section. So just click on that link, you will be able to find my notes. So you can read them, but then these are not enough. These are just for last minute revision, or these are only for those who have no interest in ancient medieval as such. So Lucent is must. Second layer is these 30 pages notes. But then if you have interest in subject, if you do not find it that tough to read, tough to manage, tough to understand, so you can go through Tamil Nadu board book 11th and 12th both, or old NCRT's 11th and 12th both. Now, do not read both these books, Tamil Nadu as well as NCRT. Read only one of them. So, if you are referring to Tamil Nadu board book, there is no need of NCRT, or if you are doing NCRT, then there is no need of Tamil Nadu. So, these are three concise sources for ancient and medieval. Now, you will tell me n number of other books, n number of coaching materials, and all. Trust me, the cost benefit analysis, if you do, it will be very poor because the questions are very tough of late from ancient medieval, from art and culture topic. uh, this might be discouraging, but then no matter how much you read, what you read, uh, it might happen that you won't be able to answer the question. So in such a scenario, what I recommend is that do not run after material, do not try to cover everything under the sun, but rather you should try to cover the basics, prepare for basics, so that if a simple question is asked, you are not missing on that. If a tough question is asked, trust me, 99% will miss it or get it wrong. So you won't be losing that much on a tough question. There is no point going in with half baked knowledge. This is another very important thing. If you are referring, say, 100 materials, uh, and you have half baked knowledge, you have not revised them enough. So what will happen if you find a question in prelims paper, and it will happen that you will say that yes, I recall, I have read it somewhere, and that is only because of your half baked knowledge, and you will attempt that question in pressure. You will create a pressure on yourself that you read it somewhere and you will attempt it, but your knowledge is half baked and you will get it wrong. 9 of 10 times it happen that you will get such question wrong. So rather, what should you do is read less material, read it more times, revise it, make notes, revise your notes. So this is my book list, recommended book list for ancient and medieval. Now coming on to next slide. So next is art and culture. For art and culture, I referred only Nitin Singhania's notes. Again, art and culture was a topic that I did not like because I wasn't able to remember it much. So in my first attempt, that was 2013, I completely skipped art and culture itself. Thanks to CSAT, I got through. But then, when CSAT was removed in the later attempts, you I had to focus on art and culture also, I had to focus on ancient and medieval also. You cannot simply skip any topic now on, because every single mark of GS is very important. So still I recommend to read notes because these are more concise. But then if you have no issues in reading art and culture, if you like the subject, you can go through his books as well. These are available in both English as well as Hindi medium. So all people can basically refer this book. But then there are very good books apart from these reference material like NCS and Tamil Nadu board book. Personally, I saw this book later on, and many of my friends who are now in various services referred this book, Tamil Nadu board book, class 11. This is a very good book. I recommend it to everyone. You should definitely read it. Uh, what you can do is refer Tamil Nadu board book and Nitin Singhania's notes. So these two things I think will cover most of the questions that can be asked in prelims. Again, now if a tough question is asked which is not covered in these two sources, there is no point in referring n number of other materials which is available in market, because you will be investing too much of time. And then again, a question can come which is so tough, so out of the box, that it is not covered even in that material. So idea again is to keep your material concise, revise them, make notes, revise them again and again, so that if a simple question comes, you are able to handle that. Do not prepare for a tough question for ancient, medieval, and art and culture. You will end up wasting too much of your time. Now, the last topic of history, that is modern India. So while the slide loads, I'll tell you that I made 78 pages notes on modern India. Those notes are available on my blog. Again, the link is in the description section. You can go click on it and download my notes. These notes are available in PDF format. These are editable. So these can be used not only for prelims but also for mains. Now, let me tell you few scenarios here. So the first scenario is that you refer to my ready-made notes of 78 pages, but along with that, you have to read Lucent GK book, which I told you for ancient medieval as well. So in Lucent, when I used to refer, now I am not aware about the current edition, how many pages it has. In my time, there used to be only 40 pages for modern history, 40 concise yet comprehensive pages for entire modern India. So I could cover this much pages in half a day or even in one day. So in one day, you are able to revise entire modern India. How good is that? But then apart from these two, you also have to refer the tables given in Spectrum book towards the end of the book. Now, I mentioned this word tables on my blog, on my YouTube channel before, and many have been asking me what are these tables. So these tables are basically the appendix, etc., like viceroys, like who wrote which journal, or there are some committees names which are given towards the end of the book. So go through these, plus go through summary at end of chapter. Every chapter ends with a summary in spectrum book. You should go through with that. So these are the three sources that I referred for modern India. These are my sources. So 78 page notes plus Lucent plus Spectrum. So this will give you not only knowledge with respect to pre but also mains. Lucent is pre oriented, Spectrum is prelims oriented. If you are reading only and only Spectrum for prelims, trust me, you won't be able to handle the analytical questions that have been asked of late in mains. So this is a very dicey situation, that for prelims you need a certain kind of book and for mains you need another kind of book. So if you follow these sources, this will cover both aspects, prelims as well as mains. Other than this, you can go through NCRTs of class 11th and 12th. Plus, if you are not reading this, you can refer Spectrum book fully. So this will cover pre, and NCRTs will sort of cover mains as well as pre. But then I'm not sure about this particular combination, because you will lack the analytical knowledge that is required for mains. And your last option is reading entire 600, 700, or I don't know how many pages this book has now, 700 odd pages thick Bipin Chandra book. So the cons, I'll tell you that a 700 page book, you will take an uh, entirety to read this book. You will take a huge time to read this book. Plus, you won't be able to make notes out of this. If you are not making notes out of it, you won't be able to revise it. If you are not revising particular source, you won't be able to answer prelims questions correctly, and you won't be able to write points in mains. So it is good. It looks good that you have read Bipin Chandra, because this book is recommended by almost every topper. But then you have to be very careful. If you are reading it, make notes out of it and revise your notes 4 to 5 times. If you are not making notes, if you are just highlighting from the in the book, it is complete waste of time. You won't be able to get what the examiner wants. So I'll suggest go through this suggestion, this combination or this combination. Relying entirely on Bipin Chandra book is not a good idea. So this is all from my side in this session. It was only a brief clarity session, as far as prelims book list for history is concerned. If you guys want clarity sessions for book list for other topics as well, you can comment in the comment section below. Thank you. Stay safe. Keep learning.